Table.
Yes po.
Ayan. So, thank you, Lovely, for that wonderful introduction, no? First of all, how many of you would like to earn passive income through apartment business? Type me in the comment section since I know maraming nanonood dito, no? So, type me in the comment section if you are someone who wants to earn passive income through apartment business. Ayun, marami pala, no? Thank you for that. And how many of you want to start their own apartment biz naman? Type ako in the comment section. Ayun, so marami din, no? Thank you for that. So, mag-share muna ako ng screen. How to share screen. Ayan, share. Nakikita ba siya? Nakikita ba yung screen ko? Or hindi? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Nakikita yung yung paano magsimula ng apartment business?
Yes po.
Okay. So, sorry first time ko gumamit ng Zoom. Anyway, so first of all, I welcome you to our live webinar, Paano Magsimula ng Apartment Business. So before everything else, I want to acknowledge all of you for being here and being present and for showing up in this live webinar, 7 o'clock p.m. I know some of you might be cooking, some of you might be watching movie, and some of you might be resting already around this hour, pero nandito kayo para makinig, no? But you chose to be here, and so I am thankful. I'm really thankful, and I really appreciate you for being here. So you have to clap for yourself to celebrate natin na nandito kayo. So press the clap button and para lagyan natin ng well done. Kung nakikita to, ayun, nakikita ko na yung chat box, ayun. Ayun po. So, rest assured naman na yung time ninyo, I will do my best para at least may matutunan kayo about paano magsimula ng apartment business. So, let's start. So, ayan. What will you learn here in this webinar? So, actually, ang mapatututunan nyo dito is you will have PSM. So, what are PSM? Profitable Apartment Planning, Smart Investment Strategies, and Maximize Rental Income. Sinong gusto nito? Yung tipo na magpapagawa ka ng apartment, hindi lang basta apartment, but kumikita ng apartment. Type me in the comment section kung ikaw yung gusto mo kumikita yung apartment mo at hindi yung nakatenga lang. Ayun, thank you so much, no? Marami may gusto ng kumikita yung apartment nila. And I will also teach you what are smart investment strategies na pwede nyo gawin in starting your apartment business. So, nandito yung mga financial and budgeting natin para makapagsimula kayo. And lastly, I will teach you on how to maximize your rental income para at least mas mapataas natin yung value ng inyong properties. Ayun. So do you want this kind of lesson? Type me in the comment section. Ayun. So actually na-introduce na ako and I will no longer introduce myself here. This is my road to wealth my road to wealth blueprint. So let me tell you a story first, no. When I was still in an elementary student, yung tatay ko, he told me na dahil tamad ka, kailangan marunong kang kumita ng pera and marunong kang gumawa ng pera. And I am really, really lazy. Napakatamad ko. Hindi ako marunong maghugas ng pinggan, hindi ako marunong magluto and those things. So I was thinking of a way kung paano ako kikita ng pera na wala ako masyadong ginagawa. And back then, I saw my tita, nung bumalik ako dito sa Pilipinas, I saw my tita na marami siyang pera. Pero ang trabaho niya lang is teacher. And nagtataka ako kung paano siya nagkakaroon ng pera on that time. Because that time, ang kita lang ng teacher is around 8,000 pesos, no? So, I was wondering, saan niya kinukuha yung pera na yon na maraming nangungutang sa kanya and marami din siyang pinapautang. Yung parang marami siyang pera na pinapautang. Meron ba kayong kakilala na nagtataka kayo kung saan nila kinukuha yung pera na yon? Type 1 if may mga kakilala kayo na ganun. Na nagwa-wonder kayo kung saan nila kinukuha yung pera na parang hindi sila nauubusan ng pera. Ayun. So, thank you for that, no? So, actually, she told me na it was because of apartment rental. So, nanlaki mata ko because I know that time that what I wanted to have is a road to wealth na blueprint na kung saan gusto ko na wala akong masyadong ginagawa. So, my tita told me these two things. So, actually, sinabi niya sa akin na in order to create an apartment business, you have to learn these two things. And this is business and contract. So meron tayong kailangan pag-aralan before we start the apartment rentals. In any business to, kailangan marunong kang ng business na yon. So hindi ka pwedeng pumasok sa isang business na hindi mo alam yung papasukin mo. So when you're starting rental, dapat you already studied what are rentals and what are apartments. So yun yung importante dito, no? So ito lang ang actually sinabi niya sa akin, kailangan matuto ako ng business and contract. And the next one is contract. Bakit contract? When you purchase the property, kailangan meron kayong kontrata para hindi ka rin maloko. Kasi when starting, syempre bibili ka, dapat meron kayong kontrata na nun. And at the same time, aside from that, apartment rentals need contracts. Anong contract? Yung mga lease agreement. So kailangan meron kayong agreement nung tenant mo para at least hindi ka din malulugi. So, ano yung dalawang yon na kailangan natin? Business and contract. Kailangan alam natin tong dalawang to. And like I promised, we will have profitable apartment planning as something that we will learn. So we do have LDB. So actually, itong profitable apartment planning, meron siyang letters na kailangan natin tandaan, which is LDB. L stands for location. Strategic location dapat meron tayo. D stands for design. It should be tenant friendly. And B stands for build. Mabilis ba ako? Sorry kung mabilis ako, no? So, B stands for build, which is BFB method. So, I will teach you the build part na pwede kayong gumamit ng BFB method. And from the location, the strategic location, meron akong ikakwento sa inyo, no? We have, this story is the Three Little Pigs and their pig pen rentals. So, once upon a time, okay lang ba na kwentuhan ko kayo? Type okay if okay lang, no? Ayun. Ayun, okay lang daw. So once upon a time, three little pigs wanted to start pig pen rental business. So gusto nila magsimula ng pig pen rental business. So each of them built pig pen and look for the best place to set up. Pig 1, so ito si Pig 1, nakakita siya ng location malapit sa river. And it had a big strong fence and plenty of room. So maganda siya. But there was a problem. There were no other pigs nearby. No one needed to rent his pen. So wala siya makitang pigs na pwedeng magrenta doon sa pig pen business niya. So hindi siya nag-accumulate ng renta. Si Pig 2, nakakita naman siya ng place sa busy place filled with pigs who needed a pen. This is perfect, sabi ni Pig 2. But he built his pen deep inside the forest where there were no roads or paths. The pigs wanted to rent but they couldn't reach his pen easily. So kasi wala siyang mga access roads. Kaya hindi mapuntahan yung kanyang pen. So si Pig 2, hindi rin nag-accumulate yung business niya. And Pig 3, nakita na niya yung failure ni Pig 1 and Pig 2. What he did is he looked carefully and found the best spot. He built his pen in a place where many pigs live and he made sure it was easy to find with a nice wide road leading to it. Soon, many pigs came to rent his pen and his business grew. So, lumago yung business ni Pig 3 dahil meron siyang road networks at meron siyang target market. So, nung nakita na ni Pig 1 at saka ni Pig 2, yung nangyari kay Pig 3, ginaya na nila to and they both have success on their business. So, what's the moral lesson in this story? The moral lesson is that a good business needs both the right customers and a place they can easily reach. Bakit? Kasi in rental businesses, if you have the target market but you don't have the access of the location, hindi siya accessible, mahirap, wala masyadong rerenta. Reason why, kailangan kasi yung ano mo, yung location mo is malapit ka dapat sa mga terminals ng mga sasakyan para mabilis nila mapuntahan kung ano yung mga gusto nilang puntahan. And at the same time, your location will dictate kung ano yung klase ng mga tao na rerenta ng unit mo o yung inyong mga upahan. So for this, for example, yung wala kang target market na for example, ang target market mo is mga professionals pero yung location mo mga students yun nandun. Hindi mo makukuha yung mga professionals. So when you put an apartment business, dapat titignan mo kung sino yung malapit sa inyo. For example, ang malapit doon is mga estudyante, malapit ka sa school. So ang target mo dapat dito is mga estudyante. So kapag ang malapit naman sa inyo is mga professionals, malapit ka sa hospitals and etc. So ang target mo doon is mga doctors at saka mga professionals. So dito may babase ngayon yung inyong rental fee. Ayun. So the next one is design. So actually short lang naman yung ano ko no, yung presentation ko. So the design also this dictates kung ano yung gagawin mo sa inyong apartment para maging tenant friendly siya. So this is a sample of what we have. So ito yung sample na pinaparentahan namin, no? So this is our model unit actually. So in our model unit, what we did is that this is actually a 40 square meter apartment and we have one bedroom. So one bedroom siya. And this is actually located BGC, in Taguig. So, malapit siya sa BGC. So, yung proximity niya malapit sa city. So, when I say na dapat yung location mo is maganda para kumita ka, is that kailangan humanap kayo ng meron talagang demand. So, in Taguig kasi, may demand actually yung location namin since, yun nga, maraming nagtatrabaho sa BGC and etc. And malapit kami sa Arca South. So, sa design, what we did naman here is that we had a kitchen set up. So, meron tayong kitchen na, meron din tayong toilet na sarili nila, and meron din tayo dito na um, at the back, meron tayong windows at saka ventilation. So, meron tayong ventilation sa harap, meron tayong ventilation sa likod. And then, in this unit, possible na rin maglagay dito ng mga upuan, na sofa, at kasya na rin dito yung kanyang dining area. The reason why, bakit kailangan i-address natin yung mga bagay na yon when we're designing the apartment rental is that dapat isipin natin na paano kaya kapag tayo yung tumira, no? So kapag tayo tumira at hindi mo kapag tayo tumira, ano ba yung hahanapin natin kapag hahanapin natin do sa space na yon? So yun yung kailangan mo i-address sa design para at least yung tao magiging comfortable because yung mga umuupa ngayon, hindi na sila nagbabayad based on the amount. Hindi na sila or based dun sa gaano ito kamura and etc. Nagbabayad na sila based on comfortability. So, what we did in ours is pinarehas namin siya dun sa mga um, one bedroom unit na makikita in uptown. So, actually, yung sliding nito and etc. So, yung sliding na makikita nyo dito, this is actually how it works on sa may uptown. Ganito yung mga Airbnb actually doon. So, ganito na yung ginawa namin dito para yung mga people o yung target namin na mga tao, hindi na sila magrerenta sa BGC. They will already rent on us na lang. And then, at the same time, yung price na yun, maitataas namin because na they have the comfortability on this space. So, yun. So, we also provided storage spaces. And at the same time, meron silang location na panooran nila ng TV. So actually para talaga siyang condo unit. Yung layout namin on the apartment rental namin na dito sa Taguig na to. So, any questions so far? Ay, mamaya pa pala yung Q&A, no? Ayan. So, the next one is the build or the BFB method. Sa BFB method, we have BFB, buy, flip, at saka build. So, paano ba kayo maggagawa ng rental ninyo? So, para makapag-start kayo ng rental, I usually apply BFB method, buy, flip, build. Buy, bibili kayo ng empty space. So, yan. Tapos, that's already. So, bibili kayo ng empty space and then at saka nyo papagawa. Or, bibili kayo ng ready-made. So, usually, ang ginagawa nito is that meron kayong nakita, bagong gawa. Bibili nyo siya para magkaroon kayo ng positive cash flow. What you will do that on is dapat mas mababa yung monthly amortization nyo doon sa rental ninyo. Dapat mas mataas yung rental ninyo kaysa dun sa monthly amortization nyo. So for example, your monthly amortization is 10,000. Your rental should be around 20,000 para maging positive cash flow. So that's actually the buy. So bibili na kayo ng gawa na. Then wala na kayong gagawin, papaupahan nyo na lang siya. So actually, we use this on one of the property that we had, itong buy. And then we had the flip. So sa flip method naman, ito yung kukuha kayo ng mga rundown or foreclosed properties. Sobrang mura niya. So, kukuha kayo ng mga sobrang murang properties, sira-sira, and etc. And then, you have the allocation na kung saan ipaparenovate nyo siya. So, yung usual na kinukuha ko dito sa flip is yung hindi masyadong mabigat na mga renovation. But then, yung sobrang mura na. So, actually, just last year, I had this na nakakuha ko ng more around 50,000 ko nakuha yung property. And then, the renovation cost is around 50 yata. And then the Amilyar, since ako yung nagbayad ng Amilyar, the Amilyar is 30,000. So actually, that's around 150,000. And since it's located in Taguig, so Taguig ko din siya nakuha. Ang nangyari dito is that mataas ko rin siya napaparenta. Kaya bumalik na yung money sa akin dito do sa property na nakuha ko sa flip. So, the next one is the build or construct. So here naman, meron kang lote. So do sa lote mo, empty lot siya, ang papagawa mo yung gusto mo na mismo. Kasi on buy and flip, hindi mo siya actually madidictate ko ano yung itsura niya eh. Kasi nandun na yun eh. Yun na yung bibilin nyo. Sa build is kayo magdidictate ko ano yung itsura na gusto nyo. You will have design and then at the same time, after that, at saka nyo siya ipapakonstruct. So in the build method naman, what I do here naman is do it by pace. So ang ginagawa ko dito is that pinapa-start ko muna siya ng yung structural niya sa ground. After that, paparentahan ko siya at saka ko papagawa yung the second floor. Ganun yung ginagawa ko dito sa build para at least kumikita na siya and then yung kita nun, yun yung ginagamit ko for the construction of the second one. Ayun. So we have the smart investment strategies. In smart investment strategies naman, we have the PCF. So ito actually yung mga gagamitin natin in order to start planning and budgeting our finances para hindi tayo malugi. So bakit mahalaga ang tamang financial planning bago tayo magsimula, no? So ang biggest mistake kasi na marami nagsisimula ay hindi nila alam yung costing ng project. So usually kapag mataas mo nakuha yung project, like for example, mataas yung nilabas mong pera, matagal usually yung ROI. So ito yung ang technique nito is dapat makuha mo siya na mas mababa. That's why mas maganda if you had the flip part, actually mabababa kasi 'yun. And then paparentahan mo na siya agad ng onting renovation, then mas mabilis kang kumita. So, why smart investment strategies? So, in smart investment strategies, you need to have plan finances wisely, create realistic budget, and have some financing options. So, paano ba yung realistic budget natin? Sa realistic budget, you have to have a set amount. For example, ang amount mo is 100,000. But this is just a sample, no? So, kunyari yung budget mo is 100,000. On budgeting that, dapat meron kang 40% on land purchase, 40% on construction, 10% in permits, and then 10% in contingency. Dapat meron ka talagang contingency. Bakit kailangan mo ng contingency? The reason kung bakit mo kailangan ng contingency fund is that pag ginawa mo na siya, makikita mo na kulang pa pala. Especially if mababa yung amount na nilagay mo, no? So, when I started, I was watching these mga shows, no, sa YouTube. So, ang ginagawa ko, nagpapabudol ako in a way na para makapagsimula ko, ay, ganyan lang yung presyo niyan, magagawa ko yan. So, I started one apartment unit using 200,000 funds. So, yun lang actually naman ng account ko, 200,000, nung in-start ko siya. But then, inabot ako ng 1 million plus nung pinagawa ko na siya. Kaya kailangan meron kayo talagang contingency fund. So, I just usually start it para at least, pag may pumasok na pera, papagawa ko na yung next and next and next by basis. So, you have to create realistic budget. Kasi kapag wala to, tapos nagpasimula kayo na wala kayong contingency fund, hindi nyo siya matatapos. So, sayang lang. And then lastly is the financing options. So financing options, you have savings, loans, and other people's money. So that's actually it's SLO. So savings is actually your investment fund. When I started doing this, whenever I make kita, kapag may kita ako, ang ginagawa ko, 50% of it, tinatabi ko na sa investment fund. So kapag kumikita ako sa projects and etc., automatic tinatabi ko 'yon on investment fund, the 50%. And on the 50%, yun yung pinapagawa ko, iniipon ko and yun yung papagawa ko. And here naman sa loans or bank loans and pag-ibig's loan, actually here in the Philippines medyo madali siya in a way na kung you are usually paying your pag-ibig and you have a bank na lagi ka regularly naglalagay, you can actually loan on the bank kung gusto mo magpagawa ng property na for your apartment. In pag-ibig, kapag pag-ibig naman, dapat dito meron kayong one unit na titiran nyo para at least ma-approve siya ni Pag-ibig. Kasi hindi siya usually ma-approve ni Pag-ibig pag wala kayong one unit na ipapakita na titiran nyo. So, in Pag-ibig loans, if you're going to use Pag-ibig loans, dapat meron kayong one unit na papakita. In the same time, kapag bibili naman kayo ng property na for example, buy ang gagamitin nyo, buy gawa na siya and then yun yung gagamitin yung financing option is by loan. Um, Ito yung sinasabi ko na dapat mas mababa yung monthly amort nyo dito compared dun sa rental niyo. Para at least masasabi nyo siyang positive cash flow. And lastly is the other people's money, OPM, which is kukuha kayo ng investors and partnership. So usually kapag ayaw nyo maglabas ng pera and you have a good credibility na with people. Pwede kayong kumuha ng investor or you can partner with people para at least sila na yung maglalabas ng pera and then you're the one who's going to manage it. So some people do the other people's money. Ang ginagamit ko usually is the savings. We had one property that we used loans. One property to na ginamit namin tong loans, but other people's money hindi ko pa siya actually na-try. Hindi ko pa natatry kumuha ng investor on savings, ito usually yung ginagawa ko. So, in order, regularly, pinaka-ideal 10% actually, you put in the investment fund if you want the apartment business. Pero ako, kapag gusto mo na mas mabilis, you can get it as around na, pwede ka na maglagay ng mga 50%. Sometimes, what we're doing right now, no, husband ko is that ako ang investment sa kanyang savings. So, yun yung ginagawa namin. So, whatever my money is, nilalagay ko na agad sa investment. Siya na bahala sa savings. Ayun. So, maximize rental income. So, in maximizing rental income, meron lang kayong kailangan tandaan, which is MAS. Marketing, amenities, at saka satisfaction ng tenants. Para at least maging happy and loyal sila. So, paano mo siya i-market? Kanina nagpakita ako ng pictures sa inyo, no? Yung pinakita ko kanina ng unit namin. Ginawa ko is that I put a model unit. And then, when I had the model unit, yun yung pinapakita ko para tignan nila on rental. So, parang ganito mangyayari dyan and etc. I discuss it already, no? Dinidiscuss ko sa tenant ko, ganito ang magagawin natin dyan, you have already this and etc. And then, when they want the unit, initially pa lang, we will already ask, um, deposits. Para yung deposits na yun yung gagamitin ko naman sa finishing. Kaya mostly on this part, ang ginagawa ko dito, gumagawa ko ng model unit. But it depends. Iba-iba tayo ng iba-iba tayo ng type ng marketing na gusto. Another thing sa marketing naman, nilalagyan ko na siya ng nilalagyan ko na siya ng finish. On some of our properties, nilalagyan ko na ng, like for example, yung clip na ginawa namin, ang nilagay ko lang dun is linoleum. Pero pinakita ko siya in picture na maganda. So you can actually do that. Had it photograph na maganda. So para enticing siya. So I just posted it in one day. In one day then nakakuha ko ng tenant. So actually that's marketing. Then amenities. Ano yung mga amenities na pwede nyo ilagay sa properties ninyo, sa mga apartments ninyo? In ours, what we did naman is that naglagay kami ng free water na pwede na silang kumuha ng water. So from there, may filtered water system kami na yung tenant namin, hindi na bibili, mag-iigib na lang sila doon. And part of it, dun, part na yon binabayaran na nila on the Manila water. So yun hindi na siya nagiging additional sa kanila. So parang sila na yung direct nagbabayad on Manila water from that part. So yung ang amenities na nilagay ko is that water filter system. So doon na sila nag-iigib sa amin ng water and then we don't charge for that one. Yun na yung tubig nila for their drinking water. So Satisfaction, tenants happy and loyal. So here naman, paano nyo makukuha yung satisfaction ng tenant ninyo? So usually, para magkaroon sila ng satisfaction on your property, what you can do this is that pwede kayong being mabait na ano na nagpaparenta is already will already give them satisfaction eh. So actually my mom gives them food at times kapag nagluluto siya. So nagbibigay siya ng food, sometimes nagbibigay siya ng small things, yung mga ganon. But then at the same time, satisfaction dito is that yun dapat yung ating kontrata is clear para at least alam nila na hindi nyo sila dadayain at the end of the at the end of the contract hindi nyo sila dadayain. So here, ang ginagawa naman ng mom ko dito, ako yung contract, yung part na ginagawa. Kasi mom, ginagawa niya naman dito is nagbibigay siya ng food kapag sobra yung luto niya. And then, yung tenant namin, since happy and loyal sila, tumatagal sila actually sa amin ng more than 5 years, 6 years, mga ganyan. Ganong katagal actually mga tenants namin. And then at the same time, at December, since masaya sila, nagbibigay-bigay din sila ng gift. So, it's just how you treat your tenants in the satisfaction part. So, importante to para at least ma-maximize natin yung rental income natin. Or if ever, pwede possible nyo siya mataasan kapag may tenant na. And at the same time, pwede nyo taasan yung renta kapag wala pa yung tenant. So, actually, ito yon. So, bonus tips. Contract. So, kanina, diniscuss ko na you have two things to learn, business and contract, in order to start the rental business. So, in contract, these are the things that you have to learn. Ay, ano ba ibalik? So, in contract, you have this lease term renewal. What are lease term renewal? So, actually, ang lease term renewal, ito yung nagdidictate sa atin kung gaano katagal nyo papaupahan yung unit. So, it depends on you kung 1 year contract, 2 years contract, depends siya. So, that's lease term renewal. So, every year, kailangan gumawa kayo ng bagong contract. So, if you put one, every year gagawin nyo siya. So, if you put two, every 2 years gagawin nyo siya. So, ito yung every time na magre-renew sila. And for this, depends sa inyo kung tataasan nyo yung tenant ninyo or hindi. So, nakadepende siya dito. Kasi every time na magre-renew, possible nyo siyang, pwede nyo siyang taasan. Kasi yearly, pwede naman actually magtaas ng renta. So, depends na sa inyo kung ayaw nyo taasan or gusto nyo taasan. And then here, kailangan sa contract ninyo naka-specify yung rent and payment details. So, what are rent and payment details? Ito yung type na kunyari, papaupahan nyo siya per month. Per month, ang upa ninyo is around 10,000 for example. Dapat naka-specify dyan na 10,000 per month nila babayaran sa inyo yon. Or if ever, kung may kasama association dues, kapag yung inyong apartment naman is inside subdivision, naka-specify dyan kung exclusive ba siya o hindi. So, kunyari, nakalagay dito na 10,000 pesos per month plus association dues kung exclusive siya. Or for 10,000 pesos inclusive association dues. So, naka-specify dapat to sa rent and payment details. So, nilalagay ito kasama ng contract. Dito siya. Dapat kasama tong rent and payment. Actually, what I do on mine is 1530. So, hindi ko ginagawa yung 1 month, 1 month per month system na na rental fee. Ang ginagawa ko is 1530 para at least hindi nila nauubos yung may pera pa sila. So pagkasahod nila ng 15 kinsenas, babayad sila, meron pa sila makikita pa nila, hindi nila magagastos agad. Kasi sometimes when you do it on 30, madalas nagagastos yung pang rental fee. So what I do is 1530. So dinidivide ko siya actually sa 2. So kunyari ang rental nila is 10,000 for example lang, 10,000 what I do is in 15 kailangan nila magbayad ng 5,000. On another 30 on 30 kailangan naman nila magbayad ng another 15,000 ay another 5,000. So that's it. So that's rent and payment details. Next is security deposit and refunds. So bakit kailangan ilagay din ang security deposit and refunds? I don't do rentals na walang deposit. Bakit ka-importante itong deposit, no? Kasi ito yung gagamitin mo kapag may nasira sila o may naiwan silang mga juice. Like for example, hindi sila nakapagbayad ng Manila Water, hindi sila nakapagbayad ng Meralco, hindi sila nakapagbayad ng ASOC. So, yun yung gagamitin mo yung deposit. Yun yung babawas mo. And usually, ito, ginagawa to, nire-refund to once nabigay na sa inyo yung once na nabigay na sa inyo ni Meralco, ni Manila Water, yung mga kanilang mga dues and nabayaran nyo na. So some, yung some, hindi nila binabalik to, but then I suggest para at least, I suggest na ibalik nyo siya doon sa tenant kapag mayroon naman silang binigay sa inyong deposit. No? So, dito nyo din babawas kapag mayroon silang mga nasira. Sa secure deposit and refunds nyo din siya ibabawas. So, for example, may nasira silang mga items sa property mo, like for example, lock sets, etc. Dito mo siya ibabawas. And then, yung tira nun, yun yung i-refund mo. For security deposit, we usually ask 2 months deposit. Depende. Pwede siyang 1 month deposit, 2 months deposit, but it depends on you. So, we usually ask 1 to 2 months. Depends kung saan kami nagpaparenta. Ayun. So, that's the security deposit. And then, yun naman, maintenance and repairs. Sa maintenance, naka-specify sa amin. It depends on you kung paano nyo siya gagawin. But you can have it yung maintenance, si tenant ang magme-maintain. So, pwede yon na sila na magme-maintain ng property and etc. kapag habang nandun sila. But then, in this, what we do din naman, aside from doon na sila na magme-maintain, sila na bahala sa ganyan kapag nakatira sila doon. Kasi usually, dinideliver naman namin siya as newly renovated eh. So, aside from doon, on maintenance part, para at least happy yung tenant namin, dun sa ano, kami na nagpapa-clean ng ano, ng grass cutting. So, kami na nagpapa-grass cutting, doon hindi na namin inaas si tenant. So, every 3 months, kami na yung nagpapa-grass cut. So, depende siya kung paano yung arrangement ninyo on maintenance and repairs. Kasi, pwede din naman, yung some contract, what they do naman is si tenant ang magpapa-repair, refundable kay owner, parang ganon. So, depende kung how big is the item na need ng repair. So, sometimes naman, para at least happy sila and you saw it naman na talagang problema naman is yung property mo, you go ikaw na yung mag-maintain ng buo. So, yon. Pero usually, we ask for them to do the maintenance kapag nandun sila. Since brand new namin siya dinideliver sa kanila. So, newly renovated namin siya dinideliver. So, kapag nandun sila nakatira, lahat na masisira nila, problema na, parang kailangan sila mag-repair nun. Kasi, diniliver siya as brand new. So, yan. But then, yung maintenance dito, minsan kami na yung gumagawa kapag yung mga simple things lang, etc. Kami na nag-handle nito. Sa utilities. So, in the utilities naman, here naka-specify sa inyo, iba-iba eh. So, in here, kunyari si Manila Water, nag-charge sa inyo ng 40 for example, ang charge niya. It's either ibibigay nyo kay tenant ng 40 or hindi. Ang ginagawa namin dito, binibigay namin yung mismong bill ni Manila Water or ni Meralco. Sila na bahala magbayad. Kasi merong mga utilities na inclusive. Merong mga sometimes na nagpaparenta na inclusive na sa kanila yung utilities. So, hindi na nila charge si tenant ng monthly na, oh, ito yung binigay ni Meralco, ito yung ano. So, para meron na silang standards na, okay, babayaran mo kami ng 10,000 rental, inclusive na ng utilities. Kami nang bahala daw. So, meron mga ganong owners. Kami, ginagawa namin yung mismong Manila Water at saka yung Meralco, sila na nagbabayad or meron sila mga internet and etc. Sila na actually nagbabayad noon. Meron kaming submitters. So, naka-submitter siya. And sometimes, meron silang sarili-sarili nilang kontador. So, that's actually utilities. So, meron naman mga ibang owners na they had the submitter, but then what they do naman on the submitter, they charge, for example, 60 per cubic, for example, for the water. So, sila na yung nagdi-dictate na, okay, bayaran mo kami ng 60 per cubic niyan. Pag may i-compute nila via submitter, and then yun yung babayaran sa kanila ng tenant. So, depende actually yung utilities. Pero kami, ang ginagawa namin dito para hindi na rin masakit yung ulo ko, is that sila na magbabayad ng Manila Water, sila na magbabayad ng Meralco, sila na kanila magbabayad ng kanilang wifi, and etc. As long as kapag sa dulo, hinihintay ko na muna na dumating sa akin yung bill na yun para ma-check ko kung totally paid na sila. Para dito ko siya ibabawas kung hindi pa nila nababayaran sa security deposit and refund. So here naman sa house rules and restrictions, which is also important in contract, is ano ba yung mga ayaw mo na gawin ng mga tenant mo? Yan. So kami, what I really hate when I rent properties, what I really hate is that ayokong ayokong gumamit ng gas. Kapag nagpaparenta ako, gusto ko ng ano lang. Gusto ko ng electric yung kanilang gamit in kalan. So actually nakalagay yan dito na kailangan kapag rerenta kayo sa amin, yung kalan ninyo is electric kasi ayoko actually ng gas. And then nandito din if ever okay sa inyo yung umiinom or etc. na doon sila iinom or hindi. So actually dito yung nakalagay yung kung okay lang sa inyo iinom or for example, okay lang ba sa inyo na may naninigarilyo doon, dito naka-specify yun. So here, hindi ako pumapayag na may naninigarilyo or for example, di ako pumapayag na nagiinuman on the rental property. So if they want to do that, they can do it outside but not inside. Ayun. So di ako actually pumapayag. Kasi as much as possible, I don't want any fire ganyan. Kaya hindi talaga ako pumapayag na smoking inside. Then, the next one is subleasing and visitor. So for this, depends din siya sa owner kung okay lang sa kanila magpa-sublease si tenant. When we say sublease is that rerentahan nila yung property mo and then si tenant na rumenta ng property mo, ipaparenta niya sa iba. So that's possible para kumita sila. So depende sa inyo yung kung pumapayag kayo ng subleasing and depende sa inyo kung ano yung type ng visitor na pinapayagan nyo. Ang subleasing and visitors namin is that I don't accept subleasing. So yung mga sa contract namin nakalagay na hindi ako pumapayag ng subleasing. So ayoko nang paparenta or papagamit mo siya sa iba. And then on the part of the visitor, hindi ako pumapayag ng long-term na visitor. Kasi we had encountered before, actually nung first kong gumawa ng apartment. So nung mga first time ko magpa-upa, ang nangyari doon is, ang binigay lang sa amin is around two people lang. One person lang daw siya. And then, pagdating ko doon, 15 persons na sila. Ang dami na nila. So, nakailang buwan na sila doon na 15 sila. So, usually dito, hindi ako pumapayag na doon matutulog sa bahay. Doon sa ako pinapaupahan. If doon sila matutulog, just stay around 1 to 2. That's it. Naka-specify yun sa kontrata ko. And lastly is the termination or eviction. Bakit importante itong termination and eviction? Kapag wala kang kontrata, madalas ito yung nagiging problem eh. Kung hindi kayo magkakagawa ng contract between you and the tenant, what happens is that may mga tenant na mga pasaway na hindi talaga nagbabayad ng monthly rental, no? So, talagang patigasan kayo kung ano. Thankful na hindi ko pa na-experience yon, pero I saw some of my tita na magkaroon ng mga experience na gano'n na patigasan sila. And pag wala kayo nito, mahirap mag-evict. So usually, it's better na ilalagay nyo yung termination or eviction sa contract ninyo para kapag umabot kayo sa barangayan or for example, umabot kayo sa legalities, meron kayong sub-closing of that. I forgot to put in here na kailangan ilagay nyo rin yung occupants, number of occupants. Some don't put that, but I usually put the number of occupants. Kunyari, ni-specify nyo sa akin na 2 lang kayo doon, dapat 2 lang kayo mag-i-stay doon. And I usually ask for their IDs. Nag-a-ask na ako ng IDs nila para alam ko kung sino lang yung titira doon or sino lang yung gagamit ng property para if ever alam ko kung sino yung mga visitors and such nila. Ayun. So, key takeaways, I think I've already discussed the profitable apartment planning, smart investment strategies, and maximize rental income. So, you can follow me up here for consultancy and free contents. And here's the question and answer. Ayun. Sino may question? May question ba? Parang walang question.
Hello. Hello, may question po ako. Good evening.
Hello po, good evening.
Si Vera po ako. Ma'am, question ko lang with regards dun sa pag-increase ng rental. Ano ba siya ginagawa ideally? Ano ba kailangan parang kailangan ba talaga parang kung meron kang tenant na parang long term, parang dapat ba every 2 years or every 2 years, third year, ganon? Renewal ba ng contract?
Okay.
Tsaka
Um,
ilang percent po?
so
Thank
actually
you.
that's around 2% kapag nasa ano kayo. So 2% siya kapag mas mababa ng 10,000 yung parenta ninyo. So if 2% per year, actually 2% per year siya. So if ever yung tenant mo is already in your property around 3 years, tapos doon mo pa lang naisipan na magtaas ng ano, you can add actually 2, 4, 6% already. Kapag nasa 10,000 below. Pero kapag naman nasa 10,000 na ba, wala siyang capping.
Okay,
So,
thank
yun
you
siya.
po.
But then, at the same time, nasa sa'yo kung gusto mo magtaas kasi ng yearly eh. Pero yun nga, maximum of 2% kapag yearly mo siyang gagawin. Medyo mabait ako, hindi ako tagtataas masyado ng yearly. So actually, nagtataas ako around mga 2 to 3 kapag matagal na sa akin yung tenant. Ayun. Did I answer
Thank
your
you po.
question?
Yes po, thank you po.
Welcome. Sino pa may question? Wala na. Ayun, mukhang wala ng question. Ayun, I think, do we have a question? As per your introduction, nag-Australia po kayo. Same here, nag-Australia din ako. Ask ko lang po, bakit di applicable yung weekly bayad ng rental dito sa Pinas like AU? And paglilipat ng certificate of good tenant. Actually, pwede. Applicable naman sa inyo yung ano, pwede naman kayo mag-weekly ng ano ng payment dito, weekly rental here in the Philippines. So, depende siya actually kung mas gusto niyo siya ng weekly, daily. Pero kapag ginawa niyo yon, it's actually like a hostel na yung daily rate ganyan. So actually may mga gumagawa no na yung apartment nila pinaparentahan nila ng daily rate, ng weekly rate. So that's actually okay. Kami, ang ginagawa namin is 15-15. So, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. So, depende siya sa inyo. Pero usually, pinaka-common dito is 1 month. Kasi gusto nila for the long term. So, if you want the short term naman, yung mga yung mga staycations types, etc., pwede naman siya. May mga gumagawa din ng ganun dito sa Pilipinas. And actually, mas mataas yung income return nun compared dun sa ano. It's just that, mahirap lang mapagpalit-palit eh. So personally, it's just my personal choice na I prefer the per month system and long term rental system kaysa yung mga short term kasi ayoko naghahanap ng tenant every week. Pero yon, merong gumagawa actually ng daily at saka ng weekly. Ayun. Um, what else? Ayun pa. uh Architect, what if fully furnished yung unit? Pag may nasira, sino magme-maintain ng appliances? So, depende siya actually sa contract ninyo. Kapag, kapag yung ginawa naman, kapag if it's in 1 year, usually, it's sagot ng ano, ng owner siya. Why? Kasi meron naman yung ano meron naman siyang warranty kapag 1 year siya. Pero kapag nasira siya na nag stay kayo but it depends kung ano yung reason ng pagkasira niya. Kasi if you ever talaga na baragan and etc., yun yung dahilan ng pagkasira, may sagot ng tenant. So naka-specify dapat siya sa contract ninyo. Kapag fully furnished yung unit, ganun siya. And then, pwede mo kasi actually, kung ikaw yung tenant, depende sa ano mo, pag kailangan kasi pinag-uusapan siya, initial pa lang, kaya importante talaga yung kontrata na naka-specify doon na, okay, every month, ikaw ang magpapagawa, ipapalinis nitong aircon ko, etc. Ganyan. So, naka-specify yun doon, especially fully furnished yung unit. So, ganun yung ginagawa doon. Dapat naka-dictate siya doon sa kontrata. Kasi kapag hindi siya naka-dictate, sagot siya ni tenant. If naka-dictate naman doon na sagot naman ni owner, adi si owner may sagot. So, sometimes they talk about it first before they sign the contract. That's why it's a contract eh. It's agreement between the two parties. So, pag hindi okay sa'yo, you tell the owner. Pag hindi okay kay owner, sasabihin naman niya sa'yo. And it's with you naman kung ikaw ang tenant na okay ba sa'yo o hindi. Kung hindi okay sa'yo, then it's fine na hindi mo siya signan. Ayun. Art, ayun, I think wala na yung question nila. Arky, saan po office nila? Our office is actually located in High Street South Corporate Plaza, Tower 2, BGC. So, sa Serenda kami. Ayan, yun yung office namin. Malapit kami sa Surrender. It's just one walk away on Market. Ayun. Sa Taguig City po kami located. Yung main office po namin Taguig City. But we are also ano po in South, which is I think it's South. Calabar zone. So I actually around Batangas. Sa Batangas yun po ako nag-stay minsan ng office. What if initially, dalawa lang dineclare na occupants, then in the end, mag-add sila na occupants? Okay lang po ba yun? Ayun, yun yung actually yung sinasabi ko ng mga pasaway na tenants. So, for that, hindi ako pumapayag nun na dalawa lang dineclare nila tapos may additional. Usually may clause ako dyan na nakalagay dito na if ever na mag-a-add kayo ng person, it will increase ng gantong amount ng ng rental. So meron akong clause na every person kayo magdadagdag is plus ano. If ever naman nag-exceed kayo, it's already ground on termination. Kasi meron lang akong max na allowable sa unit. Kasi what happened on ours before is that since bago-bago pa lang ako sa apartment rentals, hindi ko nilagay yung mga ganyan. Hindi ko pa siya masyado alam. And I was just around college eh. So, trinay ko pa lang muna magpa-renta. And nagulat ako, ang dami ng tao doon. Ginawa na nilang partihan yung namin, yung property namin. So, may grounds ka doon na pwede mo siya ipa-evict kapag kasi hindi sila naggawa, hindi sila sumunod doon sa contract mo kapag naka-specify. Unfortunately, yung sa akin hindi siya naka-specify nung time na yon. So what happened is that kinausap ko na lang si tenant na tanggalin nila yung mga tao na yon, and then if ever na gusto niya mag-stay, mag-a-add ako ng So mabait naman yung naging tenant ko noon. So pumayag naman siya mag-add. Pero yun nga, late ko na siya nalaman. So, meron kasi mga pasaway talaga na tenants ng mga gano'n na nagdadala sila ng mga tao na hindi pinapaalam. Ayun. Yun lang naman dyan sa occupants. So, usually kailangan maghingi din kayo ng ID para alam nyo din kung sino-sino yung mag-aano nito, yung re-renta. Ako yung ginagawa ko, sinasama ko siya sa contract ko. Nakalagay na doon kung anong pangalan nito, ilang taon, etc. Kung mga ganyan, naka-specify doon kung sino lang yung pwede. Para kapag merong bago, you can add na naka-specify din doon na if they will exceed around ganyan, plus one, magbabayad sila ng additional 500, 1,000, depende. Depende dun sa sa kontrata ninyo. So, if ever naman na sobra na yung in-exceed, then they can be on ground of eviction kasi meron nga kayong contract and contract is already an agreement. Ayun po. So aside from that, do we have questions? Pwede po mag-i-apply sa Pag-ibig Housing Loan yung apartment building na itatayo kahit hindi nakapangalan sa tao yung TCT kundi sa organization. Thank you. Ayun po. I would suggest don't do it on Pag-ibig Loan. Kung naka-org kayo, no? Mas mabilis ang approval nito sa sa bank loan rather than Pag-ibig loan. In Pag-ibig housing loan, when you want to start apartment business using Pag-ibig, dapat doon titira kayo. So kapag nakita nila it's already operating as business, madalas hindi nila ina-approve. So kaya ang gagawin nyo dito is more on the bank loan kayo. Kapag gusto niyo ng apartment business and it's already an organization or a corpo. Ayun po. Nasagot ko po ba yung question nyo po, Architect Christian? Ayun po. Do we have other questions po? So actually mas mabilis mag-apply sa sa bank loan kaysa sa Pag-ibig, no? Mas mababa nga lang yung monthly amort ni Pag-ibig. Pero kapag Pag-ibig nga yung gagamitin nyo, kailangan ipakita nyo siya as residential. So, dapat yung one unit doon, titiran. Parang yung owner, pangalan ng owner, yung owner at saka yung nag-apply ng Pag-ibig loan is that same siya, and then at the same time, bahay niya yung isang unit. Kasi kung hindi makikita na bahay yung isang unit, hindi actually nag-a-allow si Pag-ibig. And that's case-to-case basis, especially on apartments. Kaya usually, ang suggested dito is if you're going to use it on if you're going to use loans on using on loans sa sa apartment business, it's either you go in-house o kaya pwede kayo mag-bank loan. Mas madali siyang gawin compared dun sa compared kay Pag-ibig. Ayun pala no, add-ons ko lang, especially dun sa mga gustong mag-flip. Kapag nag-flip kayo and you're going to get foreclosed properties under Pag-ibig, check nyo muna kung may tao o wala. Kasi mahirap magpaalis ng tao. So masakit siya sa ulo. So i-check niyo muna properly, puntahan niyo yung site and etc. bago niyo kunin siya or bago kayo makipag-bidding. Kasi kapag nag-bid na kayo and then nanalo kayo and then etc. Akala niyo walang tao and etc. Kasi usually kay Pag-ibig hindi nila sinasabi yun eh. So kailangan puntahan niyo talaga siya. Mag-ano talaga kayo, mag-feasibility study kayo sa site and etc. Gawin niyo yung mga ganong due diligence para malaman nyo kung meron nakatira doon or wala. Kasi pag meron nakatira doon, maski na hindi na sila nagbabayad sa monthly nila kay Pag-ibig, kayo na mamroblema ng pagpapaalis. So, usually if you're going to do foreclosed properties in Pag-ibig, best known is that check nyo mabuti kung wala talagang tao bago nyo siya kunin as foreclosed property kapag gagawin nyo yung flip. Ayun po. Ayun. Do we have other questions po? Ano po ano po i-consider pag inclusive na po yung sa Meralco and sa water bill po sa rent? This actually depends, no? If you are working as if your apartment rental is working as bed spacing, usually ini-inclusive na siya. Like for example, 500 per 500 per appliances. Sometimes ganun nila kino-compute yun. Yung iba nagpapaupa ng bed spacing apartment rental, what they do is that 500 per 500 per 500 per appliances kapag sa Meralco. And then sa water naman, usually ang ginagawa nila dito is that they just give an amount, like for example, 500 pesos, automatic 500 pesos yung babayaran nung umuupa. Kapag inclusive yung water at saka yung electricity. So usually ganun nila kino-compute. Do we have others na question? What if initially lang? I think nasagot ko na yan. Ayun, parang wala nang question. Meron pa ba? Ayun, I think wala na tayong question. So I hope you learned a lot in this webinar in how to start your apartment business po. Thank you din po. Thank you so much po for watching. And I hope no, meron kayong unting meron kayong natutunan in apartment business. Actually, one business that I love the most is apartment rentals kasi hindi siya masyadong matrabaho. Parang monthly may dumadating sa yung pera, hintay ka na lang ng hintay. Is there a replay? I missed the first part. Ay, yes po, may replay po yata tayo sa Facebook page. Meron po tayong replay po doon. Ma'am, about po doon sa create realistic budget, paulit po yung mga percentage. Okay. So, for the budgeting, ang percentage nito, usually, ang ginagamit is 40% land purchase, 40% construction, 10% permits and miscellaneous, and 10% contingency fund. So, usually, kapag ginagawa dito is that, for example, kung meron kang amount of money na tingin mo, yun yung gagamitin mo for the for buying the property and starting the ano, the usually ang ginagawa ko dito is multiply ko siya ng 25,000 per square meter bago ko siya tignan na ano, ito pala yung kailangan kong amount ng money. And then from there, doon ko siya bine-breakdown. So depends siya pinaka pinakamalaking fund na nilalagay ko actually is contingency fund. Pero usually the sample breakdown is 40-40-10-10. So yun usually yung ginagamit na ano na kapag you want to have the realistic budget. For example, you have 100,000, 40% for the land purchase, 40% for the construction, 10% for the permits, and then 10% for the contingency fund. Pero usually, if meron kang amount na kunyari, ang in-start mong budget is 200,000, may 200,000 ka, and you know naman na hindi pa siya masyadong enough, you need to have a lot of contingencies. Pero nag-start na ako kapag mga ganun yung meron ako, mga 200, nag-i-start na ako actually doon. Pero ang hahanapin ko yung mga murang properties. Like for example, yung mga foreclosed. Or if not foreclosed, ang hinahanap ko, or mga piniflip ko, yung mga nasa family members. So for example, si family, merong binebenta na, merong gustong ibenta na property. So yan, bibiling ko siya na magkano mo binebenta, and pag family naman they give you a lot of discounts na, di ba? So binibili ko siya in a sense na pag ayaw na nila yung property, bibiling ko siya, and then mas mura ko siyang mabibili, and then that's the time I put the construction na. Ang realistic, pag mga 40 square meter yung gagawin nyo, ang mga gastos no kapag nag-renovate kayo is around mga 300 to 400. Kapag yung medyo meron na, buo na siya, ang renovation nyo na lang is just the finishing and etc. Pero depends nga kung gaano kabuo yung ano yung property. Yung last time na nabili ko is 50,000 ko lang nabili yung um lot with ano siya, lot with space na. So meron na siyang buo. And then nasa 50,000 ko lang ginawa yung renovation. Mga ganun ko lang siya ginawa. I have people na rin kasi, at saka at the same time, hindi ko siya talaga pinuli finish. Yung ginamit ko lang linoleum and etc. And then I just use good marketing system. So pinicturean ko siya ng maganda at saka yun. And then from there, ang naging contingency ko doon is yung amilyar. Kasi yung amilyar ako yung nagbayad. Yung mga past amilyar. So around 30 to 40 yung amilyar. So yun. Ang mga nagastos ko actually nung flip na yon is 130. Ayan. 130K yung gastos ko sa flip na yon. But that's actually, binili ko sa family. So yun. Depende kung saan nyo siya bibili. Yung realistic budget natin. Ayun po. Did I answer your question, Jack? Ayun. Do we have other questions po?
Okay, I think Architect
Wala.
Germaline, I think okay naman na. Marami na rin silang na question. And actually, it's 1 hour full of discussion and learnings na rin para matuto sa pag-start ng apartment business. So first of all, we want to thank you and honor you for being here and for sharing your journey and knowledge sa ating mga kabahay. So we hope na maraming natutunan din ang ating mga kabahay from listening sa ating expert for tonight. So maybe you can plug your social media. Maybe they can follow you if they have some questions, Architect Germaline.
Ayun. You can follow me on Architect Navoa, Interior Architecture Specialist. So this is actually my FB page. And then you can actually join Dentley PH, Home and Wealth Circle. So in here, I also talk about real estate investments. So nagbibigay din ako ng mga tips on how you can start on property investing. Ayun.
Ayun. Sige, bale magsali na rin kayo sa community ni Architect Navoa. And of course, interior specialist din siya. So any interior design or interior styling, decor, kabisado naman na ni Architect Germaline. So yun, thank you so much for your time, and also Architect Germaline, thank you for being here. I know baka busy ka pero you're still here and giving value to our kabahays and to all our subscribers right now watching in Zoom and also in Facebook. I want to invite you personally, if may time kayo sa Saturday, we will be having a live event. It's an entrepreneur summit. If you are interested in learning about marketing, sales, and other business startups, you can attend this Saturday. This is a face-to-face event in McKinley. So, inaanyayahan ko kayong lahat if interested naman kayo sa another event na you can network with and also connect with the speakers na din. And also Architect Danny and then will also be there. And Architect Germaline will also be there. Yeah. Okay, so yun. If any questions naman, you can ask Architect Germaline to her Facebook.